All right, greetings and salutations. Running a little behind tonight, so we'll wait everybody to show up here for a few minutes. My apologies. Let's see here. Why isn't everything working right tonight? Because it's just got to be that kind of night. All right. I am. Hi there, Tiger Wraith.
I am. Hi there, Tiger Wraith.
Oh.
I am. Hi there, Tiger Wraith.
In here. We're having a sound issue here. Okay. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I fixed it. It was my phone. I kind of lost track of time. So I got busy and looked up and it was like 8:02 and I'm like, oh crap. Need to get upstairs and get online. So how are you doing today? You know, it has been, so today we finally got caught up with all the orders and the shipping that backed up while we were at AdeptiCon. And retailer orders, distributor order, had a couple of new retail stores that we picked up at AdeptiCon. So had to get their stuff out. So it's been a crazy day. Crazy 10 days since we've been back. Or yeah, close 9 days, I guess. But caught up, ready to move on to the next project. It is. It's not a bad thing to happen. So yeah, we shipped out. We were talking earlier, a little while ago, just in boxes that went out today, there was 129 pounds worth of figures in plastic. That's a lot of figures. Hey there, Mr. JS Twitch. Welcome to the channel. Hi there, Doug DX. How are you doing? Yeah, that was from a game that we had down at Reaper Game Store 2 months ago, 3 months ago. We had quite the brouhaha. give everybody a couple of more minutes since I was running late tonight. So before I start in on my big AdeptiCon stories. I'm ready for building another board. Kind of got bored of my desert one for now. I've got to finish up my mine. I've got that Shantytown board that I was working on. I had not intended on doing any more conventions this summer, but I am going to be doing until ReaperCon, CAVCon in September. But the guys from Warlord Games and stuff that help run Twisted Lords Con down in Oklahoma City, they jumped me at AdeptiCon and got me to promise to come. So I'm going to do Twisted Lords Con. I believe that's the weekend of July 11th. I think so. I think that's where that weekend is or whatever. So we will be at the Oklahoma City show. Yeah, Warlord will be at NashCon. Yeah, John Russell is who runs all that stuff, and he gets an automatic pretty much at all the shows right off the bat. So especially the historicals. Who knows? Maybe we'll just drive down to the show just to hang out. You never know. I don't even remember what weekend that is again. So, all right. So I'm going to get a little started and kind of go over AdeptiCon. Feel free to throw questions in there and ask about anything. This year was pretty uneventful. I didn't get run into, so that was a big plus. Weather was pretty agreeable, as Chicago can be at this time of the year. We did get some snow flurries one night. And we thought we were going to get snowed on Sunday getting out of town, but actually it ended up being a pretty nice day. So it rained a little bit while we were loading up, but then after the rain broke, we got in there and went. No shootings. Yeah. No shootings. Not yet. Not this year. The AdeptiCon is in Schwamberg, which is, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but it's kind of south of Chicago quite a ways. So it's a nicer part of town, I guess. A little more yuppified. There's Lego's got their big place, and IKEA and all that stuff is there. So anyway, so we got there Wednesday morning and got set up. We had a pretty big booth area. We were running the paint and take for Reaper as well, so we had that area and had that set up. Booth went together fine. We put up some pictures. I had meant to do more streaming and stuff as usual. I was there, but it was nonstop going on. This I would say, and I think they confirmed it, this was the biggest AdeptiCon they've ever had. It's certainly the biggest one I've ever went to, just in feeling of the amount of people that were there. I know that in the past, we don't stay there at the hotel that the convention's at. So we drive in the morning and get there about 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's not like we get a super close parking spot, but we get a parking spot that's not too bad. Not this year. This was, if you could pick a spot, the farthest place to park there at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's where I was. And if you showed up at 9 or 10, I don't know what they did for parking. Well, I don't know that GW had a big announcement in the sense of they were talking about the new edition and stuff like that. I don't think that had anything to do with it. I think that I just think that there was a lot of people. I think this was really the coming out from COVID and everything. And last year, everybody was a little more tentative about it. Last year was a good show, but yeah, that's why I was gonna say they must be parking at other hotels and bringing them in with shuttles because it was crazy. Of course, we didn't have any rule books this year to sell. Basically, we're out of rule books, and then with changes that we talked about on the last stream that's going to be coming over the summer. I really wasn't comfortable selling rule books at this point. So, but we sold crap loads of minis. We came back with many empty hooks. So, which is always good, but more so than I've ever seen it at this show. But overall, I didn't have a lot of time to get around. Obviously, BattleTech had its Kickstarter going off. So, there was a lot of mech action at Adepticon this year. Between us, Heavy Gear was there, BattleTech was there, the Steel Rift guys were there. There was 2 or 3, kaiju mech kind of games. There was one right next to us. I can't remember what their name was. So lots of mech. A lot of mech stuff was well represented for sure. And I thought I was going to have to jump off a cliff if one more person showed up to tell me, about the BattleTech. The BattleTech Kickstarter is already at $4 million. Yes, I got it. And that's great. I don't wish ill of anybody, and BattleTech, they've done a really great job, over the last couple of years, getting the word back out there and with promotional stuff and everything like that. And like I said, I was a big BattleTech guy for a long time. At some point, it lost its luster for me. But that's great that they're having that big Kickstarter. It brings its own trials and tribulations. So we'll see how all that rolls over the next 2 years. By the time people start getting stuff. But it just goes back to, out of all the games, genres or whatever out there, the worst people that I have been around as players is Games Workshop, BattleTech, and Historicals. And Historicals is not a particular game, it's more a particular person. It's older guys that are they're just horrible to be around. They are, they don't want to do anything to grow their hobby. They don't want to do anything to help. And I'm not saying that as a whole. I'm just saying there's this semi, a clique within Historicals that particular group they're horrible. They're horrible to deal with. And like I said, didn't really see any big drama with the Games Workshop people this year. I'm sure there was. We were so busy, but just the BattleTech guys coming by the booth doing their general stuff got old quick. So, but I'm happy with the show. I'm happy where we are. I'm happy where we're going. Yeah, Kickstarters can definitely backfire, and the bigger they are, the bigger that they can fall. My standard response was, better hope we don't go to war with Taiwan in 6 months, because then ain't nobody getting their BattleTech minis. So, but again, like I said, I'm happy where we're going. I've got, this kind of our soft reboot that we've got coming this summer. Of course, we haven't got a whole lot of info out there yet because we're still kind of putting this all into place. But and I want to make sure that I stress too, as far as we are not destroying the CAV strike operations universe. Okay. That's still out there. We're just not going to really put anything out going forward that is based upon that particular universe. It's kind of like I was telling some of the guys at the show that come by. Think of it as an alternate universe. We're just kind of going to go down a different road for a while. I'm not saying that we won't come back and visit the Strike Ops universe at some point. But right now, what I want to do and the direction I want to go with the game to kind of refresh it, refresh my batteries and everything. I hope everybody will be happy with the direction that we're going, and we'll have a lot more stuff over the next month and stuff. This all kind of came about. Really, the final decisions were made right before AdeptiCon, and then we got into AdeptiCon, and then I've been back for a week and a half, and we've been shipping stuff out nonstop. It's like I told Tiger when he very first came in this morning. Just today, we shipped out 129 pounds of figures. So little plastic figures. That's a lot of plastic figures. Unfortunately, I've got another funeral I have to go to next week. So I'll be gone Sunday and Monday for that. Not looking forward to that. There's just been too many negative things here in the last 6 months. I'm tired of those. Let's see, what else do we got into? Show-wise, I didn't have a chance to play any games, unfortunately. I really had hoped to. Between being so busy and everything, it just didn't work out. So we had lots of good food. It's always good food up there between Cheesecake Factory and the Lou Ferrigno or whatever, the deep dish pizza guy, and steak and everything. It was really, really good. So con food sucked, of course. We stayed at a DoubleTree this year because usually I stay at the Embassy Suites. It's up there close to the deal, and the DoubleTree was just a little further down the road. It wasn't too bad, but Embassy Suites this year decided to basically double their rates. And I just really wasn't looking forward to paying $360, $380 a night for a room. So shout out to DoubleTree. They took real good care of us. Rates were fine. We had breakfast in the morning, chocolate chip cookies, warm for us all the time. So good deal there. We sold out, I think by Friday, pretty much all the new release. I actually ended up, luckily the guys from Mobile Armor Radio came by Sunday morning to get some stuff. And of course they wanted mastodons, and I'm like, well, we're kind of all out of mastodons. And but luckily I had one that was had been missing a part, so I'd set it aside. And so when they come by to talk and everything, I said, oh, well, I've got this one that's missing this one part, but I said, I have the part laying over here on our display table, so let me just take that part and give it to you. And so they ended up getting their Mastodon. So the one that they put up on their website that Rob had magnetized, that was it. They lucked out. Yeah, Pat and them, they're great guys. I need to get back on there. I haven't done a show with them for a while. So they've asked me 2 or 3 times about it, and I got kind of sideways. So I think probably this summer, as we get a little closer to what we're going to be doing with the game going forward, it'd be a good place for us to go and set the afternoon. But those guys are all about mechs. for sure. I'm debating, they come out today, Lego's got a new $250 X-Wing fighter kit that came out. I'm trying to justify why I could go get that kit. I love putting Legos together. So I need to get a couple of model kits too. I haven't done any models for a long time. Actually, I probably have 20 or 30 models down there that I haven't even put together. I guess I could probably work on those. We did, I don't know if you saw the announcement yesterday, we have switched all the heavy infantry over into dual cast. So going forward, they're all plastic. And I want to clarify too, just so that if it comes up, dual cast is, I know I pick a game to play. We were talking the other day. I'd love to do some kind of fantasy miniatures game. So I got a good hookup with fantasy miniatures. So that's a good one for me to get into. Lost my train of thought. Oh, so when we talk about dual cast, dual cast is plastic and resin. They're a plasticized resin. So we also have brought in super high quality 3D printers that we print with a material that's very similar to the plastic that we inject with as well. So when we talk about dual cast, it may be injection casting and it may be 3D printed. So just so that you know, but the detail on these they turned out so nice. It's just, they're such night and day from the metal even, that I was so happy with the way they turned out. And since they are plastic, we were able to come down on the price a little bit because the price had been kind of inflated due to metal prices. So I think the infantry kits for heavy infantry are $5.99 going forward. So they come down $1 a kit. We are in the process of switching over the light and the powered armor into plastic dual cast as well. But they are getting all new models. So we are just about done with them. We've been test printing some to make sure everything looks the way I want them to look. And we'll be having an announcement for those pretty soon. So I'm looking forward to that. The infantry has been needing an update, especially the power armor, for a long time. So that will be cool. And hopefully we'll have a list of some new releases here coming up here pretty soon. So I've been kind of going through the list of things that we've got done and kind of figuring out. I don't think we're going to have any more 5 or 6 model releases for a while, though. Those have been breaking my back trying to play catch up. So trying to get it spread out where I can take it in little baby bites. Oh, sorry. It's yellow all of a sudden. What else? What else would you guys like me to go over and talk about? I am here for your satisfaction for the next 30 minutes. But you are right, JS Twitch. So what will be the next new model? I don't know. That's what I was just saying. I'm going through the list. I mean, we've got 100 models that are done. It's just a matter of getting through there. CAVCon rules. Well, because of the changes in the future, here, we'll just go over that. Can you give me a rundown of the big announcement? I missed it last time. So for various reasons. I won't go into all the reasons again. I have decided this summer that we are going to do a when are the books going to be released? Well, that kind of runs into where we are right here. So this summer we are doing kind of a soft reboot of the CAV game. It is going to be no different, no changes really on the rules. We are playing with the initiative system a little bit, but we are going to. We're probably getting ready to ruin biker fixers all day here. We are going to be changing the universe, kind of in the realm of Marvel and Star Wars and so on, whatever. We are going to an alternate universe, a new multiverse or whatever, so that we can make some changes with the game, so that going forward, I think that it will be a better game overall for people. Like I said, sort of, the CAV multiverse. One of the things that I pointed out, it's both a strength and a weakness of the game, is the multiple alien. It won't ruin my day. Well, good. I don't want to ruin anybody's day. So one of the strengths and weaknesses of CAV, or not necessarily strength or weakness, but made it different, was the alien races. Unfortunately, having alien races, though, brings its own set of problems in the fact that anytime that we are working on a story or working on something new, we have to look at it from 5 or 7 different, or 5, I guess there's 5 races. So we have to do everything in 5s. And that was really, really slowing us down. It was just getting in the way of things. And we get a lot of feedback from people as well, as to how they want to play and what they want to play. So basically, we're going to an all-human universe. We are shrinking it down a little bit, quite a bit, so that it's not as expansive with 1,000 planets or whatever like that. There's not going to be these big factions. It's going to be a much more independent, smaller sections of worlds, a lot more little groupings. There are still some groupings as far as larger things, but not the faction mix that we have currently. Corporations are going to be coming back, being a lot more important. And by doing this as well, we're opening it up so that when you build a unit, you can use any models that you want. So there's not going to be any more Malvern models or Ritter models. Models will still be kind of divided by the companies that make them. Skyrim and stuff like that. Will be the slam poetry, yeah, sort of. Now, and versions of what we've got will be coming back into the game in a degree. So, we'll still have a version of the Terran Federation. There's going to be a version of the Templars. There'll be not Rock as far as an alien Klingon race or whatever, but there'll be something that we kind of ties in with them, maybe as a pirate group or something like that. Same thing with Ritter and Adon and stuff like that. Those will become, more world type factions or whatever inside the game. So, some of the terminology will change and everything like that, but we'll still try to keep that flavor there. And CAV will still be a CAV. So we still call our mechs CAVs. So that's kind of our ode to one of the deals, but, I'm excited for it. I think it's after 13 years of working on this, in this version, I'm ready. I'm ready for something new. Like I said, there's multiple reasons that are coming into this. One of the things that is going to be really nice is we will actually be able to do a box set to go forward. When we had multiple factions, it was very hard to come up with a box set. so that, we didn't want people, we could put Terran and Rock in a box, and you get the box and you play it, and you're like, I really want to play Templars, or I really want to play Malverns after I figure more about the game. But now I've got all these Terran and Rock, what am I going to do with them? And there's things you could do with them, but a lot of people, I wasted all my money on these models and I really don't want them. So, by moving something where everything is open for everybody to use, it allows us to put a box set out there that has some value after you learn how to play the game. So I'm looking forward to that. And as far as the rules, the rules are pretty much set where they are. There's going to be some tweaks in them to take into account the changes going to the new universe. Unfortunately, the new provisional squads are already going to be DOA because we really don't need them now with the way the new setup's going to be. And we are tweaking the initiative system. We were trying to make the initiative system work with what we already had game-wise. And, going forward, we're going to have a new, fresh initiative system that works in the deal. It's still card-based. The exact details are not nailed down yet. We kind of went over them a little bit, but going forward, instead of having a card per squad and, trying to shuffle 2 or 3 cards or something on a smaller game, basically what will happen is you will take your deck of cards, or our deck or whatever, and you will divide them into, if there's 2 sides, you'll take 2 suites. One side will be hearts, one side will be clubs or whatever. You'll have your ace through your king plus the joker card in your deck. You will shuffle those cards up. Ace cards are going to be event cards. Jack, queen, and king are going to be tactical cards that will be able to do certain things when you go. But each side will have a deck. And both of you, when it's time for somebody to move, you'll flip your top card and top card moves. And you'll continue through the deal and then reshuffle up for the new turn. So you won't be using all the cards. You never know what order they're going to be in or whatever. So that pretty much will stop I've never been a fan of, I know it's more fair, I guess, in the long run, but that, you move, me move, you move, me move. I get it from a game mechanic, but it's just, I like more of a randomness in there. I never like I move everything and then you move everything either. So, whereas with initiative dice, if you use dice, I don't think it's as random as it can be as far as, it can go back and forth. So I think with the deck, still using the cards and basically playing war is basically what you're playing. It throws some things in there and it allows us still to use some of the card mechanics that we have as far as recon and stuff like that. And we're going to have, I'm not going to go into with the Joker card, but there's going to be things that will happen. Things will happen if you tie, if you both flip over the same card. So it allows us to come up with some unique things. And it also, by doing this, it allows us to use any deck that you want to do. As far as how you want to, you can use a plain deck. I doubt very few times you'll play a game with more than 13 squads. If you do, then you just add another suite into your, and play with 26 cards to a side instead of the 13 or 14, 26 and 27. Or if you have multiple players, that way you up to 4 sides can play. So that's cool. That makes it easier for a multi-game, to go in like that. So it'll be cool to see how everybody builds forces going forward. I know that there has been some conversations that come up with, well, now that we don't have factions, what keeps everybody from, picking the best 5 or 6 of everything, and that's what we play. And we're going to put some things in there that'll cause people to change it up a little bit. Obviously, just threat value in of itself affects that as well. So, I mean, you're only going to be able to put certain point values in. So sometimes you're going to have to use off ones that normally doesn't get used if you're trying to maximize your points. But there's things that we'll be putting into the book that will give people a reason to maybe not always try to take the best of the things. You get that in any game. I mean, we had it in CAV already, in the sense of, if you're playing a mercenary force, I mean, that's basically, you could take whatever you wanted to take. So we're just kind of expanding on that. But we're going to have some things in there that I think everybody will enjoy. Now, but talk about rules. So well, and that's we're gonna look back at an RPG. I think that we're gonna have to rechange the way we look at it a little bit, since we're not gonna have aliens and stuff. I think that will make the RPG easier to do in the long term, because now we're not trying to fix in 4 other races. And with a smaller deal, it's like I was talking about with some people the other day. Instead of having this big overarching story, we can have lots of little stories going forward. And it makes it easier on me and everybody to take little bites, rather than have this huge thing that we have to have, that was really just causing gridlock, to get everything worked into that. But as far as the rules will remain as a PDF that you'll be able to download. Like I said, we're going to be updating those. That's my getting ready to come up here over the next 2 or 3 weeks. Once that's the kind of the gear I'm moving into, and that will remain so. The core rules will remain downloadable from now on. Be free for you to use. What we're probably going to end up doing is do more of a source book that will include, the construction system and things like that. That are not as part of the core rules, but the new history, the new background, things like that. And probably do a Kickstarter, probably starting there. We probably will use CAVCon, ReaperCon to kick it off. And it will be based on getting the new book out. And we'll do some things that will support that, as far as some minis and paints and things like that too, that will go. But we'll have some more information on that. We're going to take everything that we've got for the campaign book and the journals and everything like that, reorganize those a little bit. Might be able to include those in the Kickstarter as well. So we'll just have to see where it goes. But definitely, yes, I still want to do an RPG. I think it'll be an easier thing for us to jump off on, and we'll go from there. What else? Drawing a blank. All right, so give me another question. Let me take off on another tangent here. And also talking about, so the new multiverse, I guess, version of CAV or whatever, is going to be much more mercenary focused. So, that'll be something too. There'll be a lot more of the ability for you to come up with your own unit, and build your own place in the universe. Obviously, there will be semi-factions that you can play and be part of, but there'll be so many more. It'll be almost kind of more so like, the New Memphis world with our Egyptian themed stuff and things like that we'll be able to, it'll be a single planet with a government or multi-governments or whatever, that they, and the corporations build, the machinery, and they sell the machinery throughout the galaxy and blah, blah, blah. So I think that will be super cool. Are you still thinking there will be doctrines? There will not be doctrines in the sense of like the faction doctrines or whatever. We have discussed, I don't know that it'll make it into the base or it'll be part of the campaign, is that we would like to have basically our unit doctrines. so that you as a unit can decide, that this is something that your unit is good at. It may not be as ground shaking as some of the bigger ones that were in there. And that's one of the things that we've talked about as far as using some models that you would normally use or whatever. But it would be more of a straight list that everybody would be working from. Will they cause your TVP to change? No. No, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to be so severe that they're going to change anything. Even with free rules, it'd be nice to have it in a War Games vault because I get emails on updates of those. Yes, I have actually discussed it with War Games Vault, that once we have the updated, and we had planned on already doing that, but now that we're making these changes to it, once we have that done, it will be available on War Games Vault. But, and CAVCon. So because of the changes, the CAVCon rules are not going to be set for a little bit. I'm trying my best to have them May-ish at some point. But there's some things that have to be tweaked in those rules to take into account the changes that we're going to go. I will say this. I've had some conversations and we've talked about, while we're doing this, if we want to do anything with ranges and stuff like that. Because I know that the push, I guess, to say the least, is, a lot more people are playing on 3x3 and 4x4 mats. And I think that's great. I know that I walked around a lot at the convention at AdeptiCon and looked at as games are going on. I know that obviously Warhammer and the Star Wars Legion and the Atomic Mass games, we're playing on a 4x4. It looked like maybe a 3x3 in some instances, but generally a 4x4. And I know that you can get more of that in there and everything like that, but I just can't wrap my head around a mech game being on a small board like that. Even BattleTech. I mean, generally it's played on a couple of mats, and I know that fits within that smaller area because of the 1 inches and the size of the hexes that they're using. But I think that rather than well, and I would love to come out with an arena style one-on-one. That's something too we've talked about doing, but for special things or something like that. But it's just a mech game to me is, especially a game like CAV, is designed to play on a 4x6 mat. 4x6, 4x8 in the end, and I know that people don't always have that space, but as I walked around the convention hall and looked at all the different games, other than at a tournament, 4x6 was the norm. I mean, that was what everybody was playing on, and so, there's not going to be a big drive. We're not going to try to shrink it down to fit on a smaller map. The easiest thing to do is, you as a side, if you want to play on a smaller mat, is you can play the game and just half all the ranges in half. And I would leave movement as it is. So, if a model still has a move of 5 inches, I would still let it move 5 inches. In the grand scheme of things, most of the time, the ranges are not going to really get into that big a deal. I mean, if you take into account, a hex-based game, the fast guys are moving 12, 13, possibly 12, 13, 14 inches or hexes. And on those mats, those hexes are, I think, an inch and a quarter or something like that. We're just moving in inches. So, the object of the game is to get into combat as fast as you can. So That's pretty much how we're going to present it is, if you have a smaller area and you want to play on a 4x4 map or 3x3, just cut anything that's got a range in half and then just leave movement rates as they are and play. I think that's the easiest way to move forward, rather than try to fit ourselves into something that's I don't think is good for the game, and that's me showing my age, I guess. But I don't want to play on a little board. I mean, that's just, if I'm going to play on a little board, let's go play Monopoly. Let's play a board game. It's kind of the way I look at it. You are allowed to disagree, but that is our official Talon Games CAV boss rule. Please, not Monopoly. There was I think an article I saw pop up yesterday or today on Yahoo or something like that about how to win Monopoly every time. I didn't go look. So, Stratego. Risk is about, to me, I like playing Risk, but Risk is about the same as playing Monopoly. It always ends up in a fight. It's not so bad if you take out the cards where you can't, where everybody's not trading them in and getting 40 armies at one time or something. I haven't played any of the other Risk versions. I have Risk Lord of the Rings. I don't think I think I opened the box. I think that's as far as I've ever got with it. But if you've never played Stratego, that's an old style game. I love Stratego. That was always a fun game. Yeah, well, and that's better because that's the thing that always blows Risk up. Because somebody's sitting back on their cards and then they turn them in and all of a sudden one guy's got 50 armies and, he cuts through a swath and either wins the game right then or wipes everybody out, and the next guy comes in and then everybody's mad if you wipe them out. So. It's been so long since I played one of the board games. I don't know anything that's new that they've come out with it. So I know we had it. I don't remember exactly how we changed the card rules to make it. We didn't have a problem with the game never ending. I guess it lasted a little bit longer than it normally did, but it's the risk you run by playing the game. That is true. It and Monopoly. Monopoly will ruin a marriage. Oh, for Christ's sakes. All right, well, let's get back onto the CAV bandwagon. We've got 5 minutes. What other CAV-related questions would you like for me to answer? We are planning on doing more 3D printed models. The broadsword dropship will soon be available for you to order. We are not going to be selling STL files, so if that's something that you are expecting down the deal, we will probably be doing some that we will just release for free. We may do some terrain ones that they do, but probably for the most part, we will 3D print the piece, and you'll be able to order it from us. Updated threat value points. That is the top of my list. You've seen the worksheets that I've got. I'm going through them right now. Because of some of the essays that got dropped off in the update, there are a few models that need to be tweaked to take into account the changes there, and that is on my list of quick things to do to get all those lists updated. Wait, what? The broadsword? Yes, you will be able to order the broadsword. I don't have a final price on it yet. It's not going to be cheap, but the best thing about HeroQuest is the broadsword. I played I think I got the Hasbro version of HeroQuest or whatever, but the original, the Games Workshop version that we had, and we built all the maps and stuff in 3D and stuff. Yeah, I don't. It's been so long since about HeroQuest. I do not get the reference. I'm assuming that the broadsword is the broadsword. Chop, 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 chop. So it's going to be a crazy summer. I know that there were people waiting on this or waiting on that, and that stuff is going to get. The nice thing about the kind of doing this reboot is it starts us off from scratch. So rather than chasing our tails trying to get everything that we were working on done, we are starting over from scratch. There's a brand new day. Everything's there. We can get ahead of where we need to be and start getting the things out the door that needs to be got out the door. And play to our strengths now the fact that we have the ability to do everything in-house. We are going to be doing our own decals, pretty stuff. Reaper sells much more stuff through their site than we do. And that just goes back to a lot of people in their mind, remembering that CAV was originally a Reaper game. And so they are more prone to go to the Reaper site and to order rather than come to our site. But yeah, I would say on a monthly basis, Reaper probably sells a lot more than we do. I know that with the stuff that we ship them, it's pretty substantial. And they distribute into Europe for us as well. So, and since we don't ship to anywhere outside the U.S., Canada right now and stuff like that is ordering through Reaper as well. But bear with us. This is going to be a summer. It's going to be a grind. But at the end of the road, I think that the game will be better for it. Hopefully, the people that are still playing will stick around and keep playing. I think that it will allow older people that may have passed it up in the past for whatever reason to come back and look at it again, especially with a box set and things like that we can put out there. And I think that it'll help us a lot with newer players. So the stores will be much, much happier to have a box set to sell. Okay, 9 o'clock. Couple of more. Type them up. If you got a couple of more burning questions you need me to answer. I'm sorry. I tried to be on Discord more last week. I haven't done very well this week. Trying to catch up. And I'm down off the forums too. Probably going forward as we make the changeover and stuff like that, I will probably take the forums down off the Talon site and move those over to part of Discord. I believe Discord has the ability now to have forums, and so I will probably combine those two together so that we're all working in one place. I have not looked completely on how that works, but I think that that'll be beneficial for everybody. As always, you're more than welcome to email me, message me, or whatever if you have an idea, something that you think we need to look at, something, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Please, this is a good time for us to listen and take everybody's viewpoints and things like that as we move forward with the game. Other than that, thank you. Thank you for being here and being a supporter, and I appreciate everything you guys do to help us out with the game. I would love to see more pictures of painted stuff and battle reports, but baby steps, right? Baby steps. So everybody take care. Love you. Be careful. See you next week. Bye.